Well, hello, friends. Stephanie and I are here at the Michigan State Capitol building, and we just wanted to talk to you and encourage you about Awaken the Dawn and some other things that are upcoming this September at the end of the month. We're so excited and blessed to be in the move of God.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking about the move of God, and I believe every generation has a move for them.
Yes.
But the one that we're in now, I believe, and many believe, is unto a third great awakening.
Yes.
And so we're looking for that to come and praying it in and declaring it in and doing what God tells us to do. I think that, in my view, one of the main catalysts for the present move was a thing that happened at the Washington Monument, in the fall of 2016. On October 21st, All Tribes DC actually went to the mall and forgave our nation. And why that is so key, I think, first of all, because we had not asked them to forgive them and to forgive us.
Right,
but they did. And at the end of that, they said and testified that God had said to them, because you've done this, I will end abortion in America. And so then Awaken the Dawn arose, and that was a movement to pray and to declare the will of God and to receive the move of the Spirit in our nation. But soon added to that was this, it was called the Moral Outcry, and is called a petition drive to overturn Roe v. Wade. And so that piece was added to Awaken the Dawn, and I believe here's one of the things that happens is God uses the whole body.
Yes, He does.
And so All Tribes' story became our story, and our story becomes their story.
Yes.
And all of it becomes God's story,
Amen.
and His story.
Yes. Yes.
And so all of these pieces started to come together. And then even our local apostolic team had a portion, because as we began hearing about the moral outcry, and as through people in Michigan, really, the jail staking, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but that piece was added. What they had said that we would do at Awaken the Dawn last fall then was on the last night at midnight, every tent from every state of the nation that was gathered there was going to drive a stake into the ground and prophetically declare the end of abortion. And so that happened. But when we started hearing about this strategy, even our local apostolic team had a piece, because we started to hear the Lord say, and I believe the Lord said, it must be the women.
Yeah.
And so we actually sent a letter to our friend Rick Warzawak and Prophet Ed Watts, and it was to go up to the national teams for ATD, just describing that word of the Lord and saying, let the women drive the stake. And so that happened, but it almost didn't happen. But we persevered, and it did happen. And I believe that there is such a key thing God is doing with women at this time. He was showing me Psalm 68:11, and you probably know it. It says that the Lord gave the word, and great was the company of women who proclaimed it. And so this is for our generation, that we have a company of women that God is raising up to go forth and do mighty acts for Him. But regarding abortion, it just makes sense, because there's a healing coming to our nation through the overturning of Roe v. Wade. There's a healing available, and women are going to be healed. And women who have been healed will be healers. And I believe women have been victimized on the cross through abortion. Many might not agree, but in the heart of God, I believe He sees that, and He knows that. He's going to use women to end that curse on our nation. And so the women were released to do that staking. Every state placed a stake. And now, Awaken the Dawn this September.
2018.
Yes, September 27th through 29th, every state is going to have a tent outside their Capitol building. We'll have one in Michigan. And at those tents, at 11 a.m. on Thursday the 27th, every state will also stake again, and will use the stake that they got in D.C. And so with that, again, proclaiming Roe v. Wade be overturned in Jesus' name. And so I know the women are going to have a portion again, but I heard the Lord say, and I hope that this gets out too, is that the next generation has that. They would make their declaration to end abortion. And even the Lord, I heard the Lord say just now, that generation has been attacked by the enemy through abortion, that He wanted to take them out. So they're going to stand and they're going to stake and say, it shall end in Jesus' name. So with this, the women are rising up, the generations are joining together, and there's even more beyond our capital staking. And I'm here with Stephanie Butler, and she is a friend of the laborer, and she's going to add her piece as well.
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that about this generation being attacked by abortion, because that's part of my testimony. My grandmother had told my mom to abort me personally. And there's an authority and a grace that comes on those of us that have come up through this generation where all these abortions have happened to agree with the Declaration of the First Nations people, and that's our challenge to you, that you would do that. Back in 2010, my portion, co-laboring with this, was that we had gotten a word to get a solid gold nail with 4 verses on it. The 10 Commandments out of Exodus 20, 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, he said, then I will come and I will heal the land. Amen. Then the verse about Hefzibah, that's the promise to God's people, both the Israel people, his original people, and to the Gentiles, right? That we are Hefzibah, that we are married to the Lord. His delight is in us, and he will heal our land. It will no longer be called desolate. And our friend Ed Watts has this beautiful word about Sisera, and he couldn't make it here today, but the word Sisera in the Bible, in that Deborah Jael story, actually means capital. And he will be in Rome, Vavi there in Rome, where the capital system in America here started, and I will have the privilege and honor to be with a group of 15 women on a Restoring Women of Glory Israel prophetic prayer journey, and Vavi there in Israel. Now, last year, we've been 2017 in D.C., we had the privilege of doing the Jael Deborah moment for the 10th in Michigan.
Exactly, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, and that was an honor along with Mindy Tebow. Yeah, and that was an honor and a privilege. So after that, shortly after that, the Lord, we'd done our gold nail here in Lansing, Michigan in 2010. After that, we saw multiple renovations happen in our building, in the land, in the front and the back. It's been ongoing for the last several years. Then that year in 2017, he had us do the north side of the Capitol in D.C., and Ed Watts was with us. And we had 5 generations, and there was something significant about that. I felt like Abba said it was beautiful to see how many generations bridged together to make this happen, and I think that's significant with this as well. So our challenge to you, to everyone participating in ATD, the 27th through the 29th, is that at 11 a.m. Lansing, Michigan time, whatever that is for you in your time zone, that you would unite with us. HPN is writing up the declaration. They're a very well-known worldwide intercessory ministry. Ed Watts and some others are editing that for us, and we're just going to come into unity, all the generations, all of the prayer organizations, and say, Father God, we want what you want. We're going to agree, and in that moment, at the same time, the Jaels of all the generations will unite together and say, enough is enough, basta, no more, not on our watch.
And one awesome thing about that story that just came to me was that Jael, she drove the stake completely through his head.
That's right.
Until he was dead, into the ground. Yeah,
that's right.
And so we're going to persevere until the Holy Spirit reveals to us that it has gone completely through, and that well, we're going to see it manifest.
Yeah.
We're going to see Roe v. Wade overturned, and then obviously, oh no, Jesus is victorious. Yes.
And always.
So he's doing it. He's doing it.
He is doing it. So we love you. Get your worshiping prayer warrior people out there, and from all streams, I want to say to you, a friend of mine was concerned about the different streams. It doesn't matter. Some of us go in and do the wild and waily kind of prophetic stuff, and others come in and with their list and their prayers, and it's important that we have both in, because someone has to hold the line after the work is done. And oftentimes it's those other streams that come in, and we may go in first and do the kind of prophetic component, but those other streams are so faithful and so needed to hold that line and to keep the ground that it's been taken. So we love you. We expect to see you there. You can contact Rick Warswack. Information for him. If you have any questions.
Go to ATD online, Google Awaken the Dawn to sign up, and you can also go on transformationmichigan.org to their website to find information. On the Facebook page, just Google it, you'll find us out there. Yep, absolutely. Let's make his story.
Yes, let's make his story. We love you. God bless you.